I don't have the setup ready, I will admit. Um, my phone is at 30% battery. So, yeah. Anyway, I wanted to say thank you, everybody, for the 2,000 subscribers. And we're going to put the live chat on. There we are. Okay, so I have many plans which I probably will not follow. But what I'm going to do is that I'm going to put this in my hair because it's Christmas. And I'm going to answer the questions that I've written up here on my little thingy. And then I'm going to be talking a little bit about Lucia, because it's Lucia today and Christmas. And I will see if I'm going to cook myself something, because I haven't eaten any dinner. And I will try to write some Christmas cards. That's kind of the thing. Now, I kind of had told myself that I wasn't going to write Christmas cards because like the postage of stuff is like ridiculous. So we'll see how it goes. If I'm able to, like, I'm going to try to write the Christmas cards that are for my family where I don't need to pay for postage because I'm going to go and see them. But I might write to some of you guys, but I need to buy stamps, and I kind of freaked out at the price of stamps when I, like, it just keeps going higher and higher, like, at a certain point. You know, it's, yeah. So I did not buy stamps today, which was what I was supposed to do. I went and bought groceries today, and I went and I went into the forest, but it's been so rainy, and apparently, like December, the month of December, they said that my town would get 1 hour of sunlight in the entirety of December. So, and Stockholm had only had so far like 0.4 hours of sunlight in like these past 2 weeks. So that sucks. But let me see if I can set you guys up onto a tripod. Because now I guess that I have enough battery to like kind of sustain myself. We'll be moving to the kitchen where I have another plug. So, okay, we're going to put this on because it's Lucia today, and this is what people wear on Lucia. It does seem a little bit silly to people who have not seen a Lucia before, but here we are. I only saw, like, there were some school kids in my town that were doing this, singing Lucia, and I think that they were low-key like terrified of actually being there because it was quite, it was like my entire town was around in town. So what saved them was the rain and stuff like that. Because it was raining, like a lot of people couldn't stand there. Anyway, for those of you who haven't seen, but if you are here watching this video, I'm guessing that you've seen some videos of mine. Last year I sang Lucia songs. I had a video on that. Anyway, say hi to each other on the comments because you are 5 guys now. And I'm going to be looking at the questions that I got. So we'll start with the YouTube ones, okay? The YouTube, about me being a YouTuber or a YouTube content creator or whatever this is. I don't know what this is, to be honest. Okay, people are saying things. So the first one is Silverback Studios, who has done a lot of commenting on my videos lately. Is how would you feel if you were able to make YouTube videos full time? Now I find that the light sucks here. Let me move you guys a little bit like that. Okay, so how does it feel to make YouTube videos full time? How would that it make me feel if I could? Now, I wouldn't do that, first of all, because the question kind of implies that I would monetize my channel, which like I won't do. Sometimes I'm tempted. Okay, I will admit sometimes I'm tempted because like, you know, we living in 2025 sucks. Even on my salary, you know, it's like the prices of everything goes up and my salary does not follow the price of things, the inflation. But yeah, so if I didn't have to think about work and I could do YouTube full time, it would be fun. I would maybe I would prefer doing that. But the thing is, YouTube is not a viable long-term solution, you know? It might work for a few years, but YouTube is already crumbling in terms of how the algorithm and everything. It just is not a viable place to be. If YouTube was the same as it was like a few years ago, like 2-3 years ago, only 2-3 years ago, then I would have been quite excited and happy about it. But nowadays, I don't think I want to be on YouTube full time. It's quite a toxic mind space to be in, you know, of like, you know, chasing sponsorships and playing for the algorithm and doing all that stuff. I don't think I would want to do that. What would I feel? I would be happy if well, basically that would mean that I was rich or that I would get a lot of money from my videos. I don't know. I wouldn't. I mean, like, I wish that I didn't have to work and that I could just do YouTube videos all the time. So that would be fun. But I think I would take a lot of the joy out of it as well, because I would find the pressure of having to go and make a video like on a schedule and all that. I do make a lot of videos, which I think is part of my success model, if you can call it that, because I am unsuccessful in every other parameter that YouTube requires. The only thing that I'm good at is churning out videos quickly, that are quite long, which apparently is kind of a good thing right now. There was a time where they were really focusing on shorts, but now they're not focusing on shorts. Now they're focusing on more long form content. But I don't make like video essays that are like an hour long, so I'm not filling that piece of the algorithm either. So I don't really know. Thing is also, if you want to be successful at YouTube, you have to have a niche, but also the niche has to be one that is very popular on YouTube. So the niche, like, I've created a niche, but it's not popular for like people on YouTube. Maybe autism has become more popular of a like trending topic, but I don't think that I am niche in the right way, because I keep doing different kinds of videos and experimenting with different topics instead of like doing the same thing as everybody else is doing all the time, which is like, you know, you know, 10 reasons why you might be autistic, or like these are the 10 ways that that you can gain more productivity in your life with an ADHD brain, or that kind of thing that just like comes up again and again. So I'm not willing to do that. My videos are my videos and I'll do whatever I want with them. But so, yeah, it's a complicated question. Okay, let me just look at the chat, because this live is for you guys. I mean, to thank you guys. Oh, hello, Carm. Hello, hello. Happy 2000. it, it sounds like we're in the year 2000. I didn't get to experience that. I mean, I was 5 years old in 2000, so, but it's kind of like we're celebrating the new millennium that we thought was going to be so exciting and fun, but instead just and the technology ends up making our lives worse. So, anyway, I'm being very cynical right now. Reedley says, God kväll. Hello, are you from Sweden, Reedley? Distrak is from Sweden. Hello, everyone. Yes, Distrak, I have your question, so I'm going to get to it next. Gorvo or Karm says, I've been on YouTube in some form for almost 15 years. It's a different landscape now. Still a few who keep the old school spirit alive. Yeah, well, technically, I've been on YouTube. Well, I've been watching YouTube since maybe 15 years back, but I created my channel in 2014. So it's been 11 years now. You know, my first video is still up. You know, it was an 18-year-old me. Anyway, so yes, I appreciate Karm's style of video making. I think that the INFP, yeah, the OG group of the INFP channels, you know, but by that I mean like Karm, I mean Dulles, I mean Vondelpiet, and I mean Bufo Pergolanis, and other INFP insights. That's kind of the gang, you could say. And there are others that have come and gone, but it's kind of, you know, like we don't. I think Vondelpiet kind of is a bit with the times, a bit more than the rest of us. But I think that we kind of are just like doing our own version of what we find that a YouTube video that we would want to make looks like. Kanakiken in I3PF, or do you mean INFP? I don't know if your pseudonym has any reference to INFP in it. Anyway, hi. Okay, na it says, hi girl, I just discovered your channel an hour ago. I'm an INFP thinking of going into medicine. Oh, I should roll this video. Now this one. I understand you've had some struggles in your profession journey, but seeing your first video and seeing you now, you've grown so much and do seem more secure, confident, grown. I'm always very proud of your journey, even though I'm just starting to get to know it. P.S. Could you please update us on your medical journey these days? I'll spend the coming weeks going through your content. Shining girl, you'd be amazing. Oh, well, this is the reason I make videos, okay? Because once in a blue moon, I'll get the kind of comment like this, and I'll be like, oh, yes, you know, I've gotten sidetracked into many different things, but that's how my mind works. So I talk a lot more about autism nowadays than about INFP, but I do talk about INFP. It's just, it's hard by knowing like there are two segments of my viewership. Sometimes it intersects, but often it's like there's the people who want to watch only the autism stuff and people who want to watch only the INFP stuff. And then there are some people who want to see the medicine stuff. Unfortunately, at the moment, I've just been complaining about my my time in medicine right now. The update for you, because you don't know about the rest of my journey from like 11 years ago to now, is that I am a medical resident in general practice here in Sweden, and I've done 3 years out of the 5 that are required. But because I'm working 80%, well, I have been working 80%, I probably will have to prolong that time. But if all goes well, I will be a specialist in general practice, which is a thing, in 2028. That's kind of the goal. But yeah, so it's a long journey in medicine, you know, it's like a never-ending journey of learning stuff. And as I said in my video about turning 30, I do think that growing up, you do become more okay with yourself. And also getting my autism diagnosis helped me. But also learning that I was INFP helped me into growing more into myself and being more content and satisfied with life. Okay, so let me just keep going. I'll get back to that maybe. I haven't advanced since the year 2000, so it's all good, says Carb. Yeah, I mean, I have because I, in the year 2000, I was 5. So I've had to advance somewhat. Yes, Reedley is Swedish. Oh, cool. I mean, the Swedes who are on here unfortunately don't have a Lucia party to attend, so I'm honored that you're watching this instead. Thank you. Yes, we mostly do warts and all. Not a bad thing in my unbiased opinion. Yeah, no, I mean it's important. There's this whole trend of being authentic online, but like we were we were authentic before it became a trend, and like it's the only way that we can be, I think, as INFPs. I don't think that we can be in any other way. The last part by pseudonym was made randomly by YouTube. Oh, so you just happened to have the letters INPF in your your pseudonym? That's funny. Thanks for your answer. Fantastic update. Sending you my strength to 2-3 last years. Powerful. Yeah, thank you. No. Okay, I'm going to have to put you guys down. Oh, I also wanted to show you guys my some Christmas presents I got, or yeah. Okay. Right, I'm something that makes me not a great YouTuber is the fact that my equipment sucks and I have never bothered to update it, and my lighting is really awful because it gets dark at like 3 p.m. here, and it's so it's been like night for like 6 hours at this point. Anyway, let's get to Distract's question. What's your biggest difference? I only wrote notes. I didn't write the entire question here on my paper, but what's your biggest difference that you have like in comparison to INFP stereotype? And thing is, well, there are many INFP stereotypes. I mean, a lot of the types are stereotypes because each person is different within that. We are all individual, but I think that some of the INFP stereotypes is basically that everybody is different from. So I don't know if I'm especially different from it, but I want to say that like INFPs can be logical, and the stereotype is that you're just like the daydreamer who can never be logical. I think that that's a thing, and that I'm different from the INFP stereotype because I'm a doctor, I guess, and I am interested in facts and things not being just about emotions, but also about like making sense logically. So that's one. But another thing is that I don't think that I've made this point before, and people have like said like, no, that's not true, but I don't find like I'm a super creative in person, in that I don't feel like I'm, you always hear about the INFPs artists creating art, and it's like I've never had the patience to learn to draw or to learn to paint or even write. I mean, I've written fan fiction, but I don't think I could ever actually write a novel. I made a video about like, should I write a novel? And then everybody was like, yeah, but I realized that what I am good at is I can write poetry that nobody understands, right? That's a skill I guess that I have, and that I'm willing to write these poems that nobody understands. I guess that's something that I do that is creative. I make these videos which are creative, but I don't find that I'm, a lot of people do a lot of edits and create a kind of scenario story around things. My videos are just me like talking. So I guess that I can think in a creative way, but am I creating things? I'm not a creator that actually produces things, art. I produce this content. I guess this is content. I don't know what this is, but I produce this. But yeah, so I find that I have a hard time relating to that INFP stereotype that I am, the next Van Gogh, like I'm not. Okay. I think that a lot of other INFPs create more art for art's sake. I think I don't have the patience to learn new skills, and it's like it sucks. Maybe it's just my burnout. I don't know. So I hope that answers somewhat your question. I don't know. I don't know. That was a pretty shitty answer. Okay. Have you? Okay, wait. Oh, wait. I can only do one question at a time, so I'll keep your question for later, Kanakiken, and I will. Okay. This track you might want to like add more stuff to your question if you want me to answer it in more detail. Also, yes, I hope that the Gävle goat has not burnt down. So tell me if it has, because I have a soft spot for it that I have never seen. That's just for this track. Okay, now let me keep going. Pulsar says, what are you most idealistic about? And what am I most idealistic about? Well, it depends on my mood, I think that I have a problem of idealizing people, which I think I've gotten better at with time. But I think if I idealize my closest friends, sometimes to an unhealthy degree. But the question isn't about idealizing people, it's about what am I most idealistic about? And I think that I'm quite a cynical person, but I think that everybody has their strengths. Everybody has a place in the world somehow. I think that is something that I'm idealistic about, in that even the worst of people like have their good sides, I guess. And so I think that I'm idealistic, and that's like, I guess I think that's the world can be good because the people in it are good. I guess that's the thing. I do get pretty down on the world quite a lot, actually. That might be another difference that I have from some INFPs, is that I think that a lot of INFPs are cynical too. I just find that I don't believe that people are all good on the inside. I think that everybody has the potential to be good, but I don't think that all people are good and kind, So yeah, that was a philosophical question. I don't know what I'm most idealistic about. Sometimes I just think that, wow, how idealistic I was when I started medical school. Like, I thought that I was going to, I had no idea what I was getting into. I thought I was just going to get through it. I don't know. That was some idealization. Okay. And then we've got the last question from the comment section, which is by Haz Albel. What advice would you give people who want to start blogging their thoughts or diaries on YouTube? Or basically the question was also if you could, you know, speak to your younger self starting YouTube channel, you know. What's advice? I would say, well, go for it, you know, because I think a lot of people are very scared about it. I mean, Psycastral is an honorary friend of the channel. It's just that I haven't spoken to him I haven't written a comment. I haven't looked at his videos for months now. But he said how scared he was of starting a channel. I don't think I was so scared. I just think I just recorded myself and posted it on YouTube the first time. I had things to say and I just said them. So I didn't go through that whole process, but I know that people do. So I would say, like, yes, make sure to keep some privacy. Don't dox yourself. I sometimes don't keep my own advice. Yeah, you know, I don't want to put myself into unsafe situations, and I don't want you either to do that. So be careful about the information that you spread online. At the same time, you know, it's not something to be afraid of. You will get hate comments, but like it doesn't reflect who you are as a person. It just reflects on badly on the person who's writing. Also, you can block people. That is a thing that you can do. Don't worry about, you know, seeming like that you're just talking in an echo chamber. Like, you're there are so few things that you can control in life, but you can control this thing. You can control the people that you block and you don't. And it will feel like such a relief that you don't need to worry about these people saying shitty stuff. Yeah, what else? I like, don't do it. I mean, some people are doing it because they want to get monetized, and I think that you need to first make it for the sake of making it. And then if you feel like you're getting traction and you might be able to get some monetization out of it, then you can do that. But I think that it's wrong to start a channel in order to get money out of it. And yeah, have fun. Like, do the videos that you want to do, not the ones that the algorithm wants you to do, because you'll never win at that game of the algorithm. If you're winning the game, then you just, you know, you've hacked the system. Congrats. But it's like Mr. Beast. Like, do you have a soul at this point? Yeah, that's what I would say to my younger self about YouTube, and what I would say to other people. Yeah, don't film yourself outside in a place that other people might recognize. Okay, when I film myself with like a pretty neutral background when I'm outside, so that people don't recognize, like, oh, that's the church tower in my town, or you know. There was a point where I did kind of like a view from above, where somebody recognized the town and wrote it in the comments, and I had to like delete that comment pretty quickly, so that people didn't know where I live. people do kind of know because I tell you guys that I take the train to Stockholm within a day, so that gives you a certain idea. But that's how much willing I'm like willing to go. Yeah. You know, also I don't reveal my last name here. And yeah, I saw a YouTube creator that I like, Little Top Tree, who said that you might want to start looking into going to other platforms if you want to make sure to cultivate the community on YouTube. Unfortunately, I'm not able to do that because I cannot stand Discord and I cannot stand Twitter and I cannot. The only like social media, like I'm on Instagram, but I have it closed because I've had somebody stalk me and then go and write to my ex INFJ friend, which yeah, people are stalkers, you know, and because I had my profile open and I had tagged him in one of my stories on Instagram, so I think that yeah, so Instagram I keep to a certain few people. I don't share it on here anymore. I used to, but I decided against that. So it's private now. And I just post stories pretty much about different things. What else do I have in terms of, I have Tumblr, but nobody wants to go on Tumblr. So if all else fails, I will be on Tumblr because Tumblr is like literally indestructible at this point. You know, so if you don't know where to find me, I will be on Tumblr. I don't have a Radish Raven Tumblr, but I have several different Tumblrs. I have a Trevor Finds Thestrals, which is my main, which has like 200 followers at this point because everybody has left Tumblr. I have TJLC Blur, which is my Sherlock Tumblr, which actually has more followers than I have subscribers on here, actually, because yeah, the Sherlock fandom is still going strong. I have like 2,300 people on there. Then I have like these tiny blogs that nobody follows me on. One of them is sensorel.tumblr.com, which is basically just stims sensory stuff, which is basically like videos of people squishing clay or like painting stuff or just like calming, soothing videos or textures or sounds that I like. So I have that. Then I have one that's called the Flora Sin with a Y, which is floral blog. It just has flowers, just flowers. And I have one that is called infpp.tumblr.com. I think that's the name, and it's about MBTI. So I just post stuff, but I rarely post stuff on there nowadays because I don't look at that part. And then I have another one called anxietybread.tumblr.com, which is my mental health vlog, which is now my now it's my autism Tumblr basically. So yeah, so I have Tumblr. I have several blogs on there, and I think that people, you know, if all else fails and it's the end of the world, that's where I will be. Okay, because YouTube will not last forever. And if I had known that I would keep doing videos several years in the future, I would have saved those videos onto a hard drive somewhere, which is something that older INFP Insights does, but I have been too lazy to do that. I just upload them onto the YouTube and then I delete them from my phone. And yeah, I should have them all on the hard drive in case the world burns. from one day to the next, I could get thrown off YouTube. They could like decide for some technical issue that the AI decides that I'm not an adult or something. I could like completely disappear tomorrow, and I would be devastated. But I know now that I can still survive. That's why what I do now is that I write in my diary rather than just doing everything of my diary out on YouTube. Also, because I can't talk about everything about my life that is private, I do it in my diary. So that's another tip for people who are thinking about vlogging. Yeah, you can use it as a diary, but you have to be careful. Also, be careful about what you say about the people in your life. Like, keep their privacy, because that messed my friendship up with my INFJ friend, is that I talked about him on here. Even though he said he was okay with it, he actually wasn't. It's better to ask the people in your life, like, for a total yes, than like, are you okay with this, maybe, so that's what I would say. Okay, now let me get me back into here. Have you made a DNA test ever? Made a DNA test? Or done a DNA test on myself? I have never done a DNA test because like I haven't gone on 23andMe or MyHeritage or Ancestry. I have thought about it. But my INTJ friend scared me out of it. She was like, like they could keep your data forever and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe not then. Yeah. So I'm not doing that. Let me keep going. I have watched in the past a couple of your videos, and what was helpful to me information-wise is whenever you talked about burnout. Thanks for that. Yeah. I don't want to talk about burnout too much on this channel because, like it makes it sound like I'm in burnout all the time and like my life sucks, and I don't want to be so negative. But I am in burnout and my life does sometimes suck. So, like, yeah. Thing is, in my real life, people don't know that I'm autistic, or they don't associate the burnout. They don't understand how the burnout can have anything to do with autism. So like they just think that I work too hard, and that if I just take it easy somehow, that I will get out of burnout. They don't really get it, and so the only people who get it are the people online here. So that's the thing. But I'm glad that I could be of some help, Kanakikan. I think I've seen your username somewhere, actually. Maybe you've commented? I don't know. Okay, Distract says, nah, no, it's good. You're on the snow straw goat burning faction? Shocking. But fire is so pretty. Yeah, but the goat is very pretty. I like the goat. But so, yeah, my INTJ friend is living in that area, let's just say. So I get updates on the goat. In my town today, they had tractors that were dressed up for Christmas with like tinsel and with like a fake Lucia. Lucia, Saint Lucia wears a crown that has 4 lights on it. So it was basically like they put 4 lights on top of the tractor's top, and they had the other one had a Santa hat on, and kids could go into the tractors and pretend to be on the tractor. And then there were people, there was like a school class that was singing Lucia songs on the steps of our mayor's office place. So that was nice. They were also selling they have saffron buns for Lucia. and I don't really like them, I must admit. I like some saffron um, um, buns that are a little bit more like cinnamon buns. I like those. But the usual saffron buns that are in the shape of an S, called lussekaat, they are very dry, and I just, some of them are good, but you have to get like the good quality ones, because the bad quality ones are like way too dry, and it's like trying to swallow sand or something. Uh, so I didn't eat one today. I actually ate one yesterday. At my work, um, uh, we had like a Christmas party, and it's amazing that we still have Christmas parties, because you know the budget of the region is not great, and the budget of an entire Sweden is not great. So the fact that we even get any kind of Christmas food at all is amazing. So we get this kind of like uh, ham, this Christmas ham on a piece of bread with mayonnaise and um, a roasted onion, and yeah. So we had that, and then we had julgröt, which is rice pudding with sugar and cinnamon and milk. Apparently, you're supposed to put milk on it. I have, this is the first year I actually did the thing of putting the milk on, because my boss kind of like forced me to. He was like, no, you need to have milk in it so that it absorbs the cinnamon uh, of the rice pudding. And yeah, I don't really love rice pudding, but julgröt is kind of a more creamy kind of rice pudding, so it's not as much rice, and it's not. I don't really like rice pudding if it's not julgröt, basically. Yeah, I would rather the straw goats did not burn. Um, because, like, yeah, it's only up once a year. I get teased for being too idealistic and not cynical enough, against the stereotype of being so called Gen X. Another way of being a square peg in a round hole here, I suppose. Fine by me. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that when I was small, I might have been more idealistic, but then, yeah, I became old and I become cynical. I'm trying to get out of that, you know. Okay, let's see. Awareness over algorithm, I feel. Finding kinship with others on YouTube is its own greatest reward. Yes, that's the whole point of this. That's why I'm doing it. What musicians do you listen to? Um, well, a few weeks back, or a week back, I don't know. I posted my YouTube 2025 music wrapped. I didn't get my YouTube wrapped. Apparently, some people got a YouTube wrapped. I did not get it. I don't know if it's only in the US that you get it, or if I have some setting that means that I don't have it wrapped. But I did get a YouTube music wrapped, and so it's playlists with the songs that I listen to most. Um, the artists I love the most are Florence and the Machine and Aurora. I also like Paris Paloma. I um, I like the kind of like witchy indie folk pop mix. Pump punk. Sorry, it's not pump. Punk rock. That kind of vibe. Um, yeah, I don't really know. Um, yeah, but apparently, like I also like disco stuff. I'm kind of like, it's the gay anthem music that I really like. Um, I also have the fast tracks playlist on my that I think I've made public, which are basically like songs that I like to have in the background while I'm dancing in the kitchen or whatever. They get me pumped up, so I like that. I like Daft Punk, Um, yeah, I am actually pretty mainstream in a few ways, but I'm not like, unfortunately, I'm not into metal, and I'm not into rap, and I'm not into R&B, hip hop in general, you know? Um, I'm not, I do like classical, but I find like sometimes I don't have the patience to have it on. Like I can have it on in the background, but I'm not going to be like sitting and actually listening to it. Um, it's like jazz. Like I'll have it in the background, but I'm not going to be actually like, you know, my grandfather really likes jazz, so we're going to have some jazz during the Christmas time. Um, yeah. Okay, let me see. Anyone not understanding, in Gävle, Sweden, there's a giant stroke goat every Christmas, and it's been set on fire 42 out of 59 years so far. Yeah, but the last few years it's actually not been on fire. But I think last year it got pecked by birds, so it got messed up in another way instead. Which which I find funny though. That is a way that I would rather that the Christmas goat to go. I would prefer if the birds went and ate it up rather than, yeah. So the Christmas tradition is that in Sweden, before Santa was a thing, um, they thought that the Christmas goat was coming with all the presents, and yeah, so they would make goats out of straw, and they still sell those and make those nowadays. Um, I don't have one, but yeah, it's kind of a symbol of Christmas here. I don't know if any of the Christmas cards that I have actually have that. Um, maybe we'll see. Okay, let's see what's going on. Kind of, it's kind of related to them having police guarding it 24/7. Yeah, exactly. Well, if people didn't burn down the goats, they wouldn't need to have any kind of surveillance. But you know, I'm against the police state and everything, so I I get that people want to burn the goats for the civil disobedience of it, you know? But like, yeah, I think that there are better things to burn than than the Christmas goats. Yeah, that's another thing with being on YouTube is that there are certain things that you can't say, which I can say because I'm not monetized. But there are certain people who have gotten into trouble. What's his name? Saros TV. He, he. I don't know what's up with that guy, but Saros TV is like he has psychosis and bipolar and all sorts of a combination of mental health things. But he posts like several videos a day sometimes, and I'm like, what's going on? But he's really entertaining and also really right about a lot of things. But he is very chaotic, and apparently the AI of YouTube thought that he was a kid, like despite being like over 30. And so it's like shut down his channel until he could like give his ID. So yeah, that's why a lot of people have the paperclip profile pic. Like this track has the paperclip. Um, yeah, I'm not changing to the paperclip because I don't know if I'll ever find my current profile picture ever again, because I don't know where I'd find it. Also, I don't deal well with change because I'm autistic. I like once my profile picture is set, it's like I'm not moving, I'm not budging from that. But yeah, I agree with all the paperclip people. Um, so there's that, and then there's also the whole thing of like, yeah, apparently he was working at Amazon, and somebody had come across like one of his coworkers had come across his YouTube channel and seen that he had said shit about Charlie Kirk, and so he got fired from his Amazon job because of what he said about Charlie Kirk. Which, yeah, we live in a dystopia. But okay. Jazz and classical can be an acquired taste in their respective way, very deep rabbit holes. Yeah, well, my grandfather is like a real, like, experimental jazz fan. Like, he, you know, I can, like, I can appreciate jazz, and I can even want to put on jazz myself, but only like the big classics. Like, I guess like they're more like, Ella Fitzgerald, Armstrong, these big names, and they're, yeah. I don't know if Nina Simone is jazz. Yeah, she's jazz. But so, yeah. So I like listening to those. I like, but like, okay, then you get to like blues, and then you get into like other forms, and it comes to a certain point where it's so deconstructed that it's like, it's at this point it's just sounds to me. But when I was small and we would have Christmas, and my grandfather would put on the jazz music that he likes, I mean, I kind of guessing that my grandfather is autistic and my dad is autistic, and I got the autism from these people who are genetically related to me. He likes to like tap his foot to the music, and there isn't really a beat. There isn't a strong beat, because like every beat is a beat, but he'll be very concentrated into that. And I would dance to this, like on the carpets. There was this big carpet, it's still there, but I would just like roll around on the floor, basically, like whatever the dancing was. And it was basically stimming to the music. It wasn't like I was having any moves. It was just like I was, moving myself back and forth. And, at that point I was taking ballet classes. So I knew that my kind of dancing that I was doing there was very different from like the very regimented style of ballet dancing. It was just rolling around on the floor, chucking my foot at the carpet, doing these specific movements to the sound of the jazz. And I think that it's a very, like, it's a kind of like a hypnotic state. So I get it, but at the same time, like, I wouldn't just listen to it for like the enjoyment's sake of, yeah, it's instrumental. But it's kind of chaotic. It's not like, yeah, you can't really just have it in the background like my grandfather has it. Like, for me, I have to be like in the zone to appreciate it. And yeah, I haven't really gotten into the zone since childhood. But yeah, it's kind of like the flow state that you get into when you're, yeah, which neurotypical people can have, but that's, I think, the autistic people get when they stim. Okay, wait. Hi Ingrid, didn't know there was a live. Anyway, I was at the cinema. Hi everyone. Hello Sick. Hello. Hi Carm. This live started 54 minutes ago. 50 minutes ago. Yeah. I basically was answering the questions that were in the comments, and also some questions that came up here. And it's Lucia today, so that's why I'm wearing this. Yeah. And yeah, we were talking about the Christmas goat and the Gävle that gets burnt down, and I don't want it to be burnt down. Um, it's a funny topic every year. Um, yeah, and I was talking about like, yeah, my YouTube uh, journey and also like my cynicism towards life and towards YouTube. And yeah, what am I idealistic about, and what's the biggest difference to the INFP stereotype? Um, and what advice I would give people who wanted to start blocking their thoughts. I also talked about how, yeah, sorry, you guys aren't straight here. None of us are straight. Missed those, but I was watching Ghibli movie. Oh, what were you watching? I really like Ghibli movies. In my latest video, I got like, it was quite discouraging because sometimes I get like 0 comments, and then I'm like, oh, I wish that somebody would comment, and then the person that comments is like, who do you want to mate? And I'm like, what is that a question? I'm guessing that the person who wrote that comment is not English speaking, because yeah, but so yeah. But I made a video about INFP characters in media that I liked, or that the INFP characters. No, it's fine if you don't have time to comment. It's just the comments that I did get were shitty. That's the problem. Rather, I'd rather not receive comments than receive shitty comments. Because somebody got really mad about me saying the Joker rather than Ben Affleck, or is that his name? Ben Affleck. I have a feeling that that's not his name. And so I explained, like, I've only watched the Joker. I haven't actually watched any Batman movie, so I don't know. And you know, yes, it was an analysis of just the Joker in that movie. I wasn't talking about the other Jokers because I don't know about them. And then this person was like, you need to watch number 2. And I was like, I don't think I'm going to get to it because I rarely watch movies. Like, I watch movies like 2 times a year or something, you know? I literally will, I haven't watched many movies, so my media consumption in terms of movies is very low. TV shows, I've watched a few, but also very few. I don't have a TV. I only have my computer, and I don't have any subscriptions. So, yeah, I don't know a lot of references that people make, but it's fine by me. A friend gifted me House Moving Castle last year. It was lovely. Oh, that's a nice gift, Carm. It's a really nice movie, but difficult to interpret. Yeah. A lot of people would say that is their favorite Ghibli movie. I disagree. But that's just my taste. I find that movie is very confusing. Now, I've read the book. Sorry, you guys get a lot of the pillow here. I read the book, House Moving Castle, so I know about that. But yeah, it didn't help me much in understanding the movie, actually reading the book. But it's kind of like 2 very different themes, the book and the movie. They're very separate things. The movie was originally, it was basically like an anti-war movie, because I think that it was like the war in Iraq had started or something like that at the time that it came out. and it's about the love between Howl and Sophie. Well, the book is like literally they get together at the very, very end of the book, and that's like it. And it's not even like very romantic. Um, but like in the Ghibli movie, it all seems like he's such a soft boy romance, I don't know. Um, so it's a very different interpretation of like what is important to take out of this. While in the book, it's a lot more focus on how Sophie is getting older and how that is actually like a good thing. And how Howl is kind of uh, an asshole, but yeah, that he didn't have a choice to be otherwise, I don't think that they make such a point in that movie, but the movie is beautiful. I would say that the animation in there is some of the best that I've ever seen. So I would say it's wonderful. A lot of crazy things happen, and it's just like you just have to be there for the ride, But like it doesn't make much sense what actually happens. My favorite was probably, wait, is this live? Raiden Asar? Yes, it is live. Hello, Raiden. Congrats, says the Stenberg. Are you from Sweden too, Dan Stenberg? Okay, wait. Okay, sorry. Congrats. I started going to cinema from last year, so I don't have a big culture. I have 2 cinema tickets that I'm not using because I don't know what movies to see. Nothing appeals to me. I don't have like a cinema in my town that I can access because you have to take a car. My favorite is probably Spirited Away, and that's my favorite. And it can seem kind of like, the boring classic answer, but it really is. Yes, I talked about it in my INFP characters video, but I really, yeah, so I watched a 4-hour video essay by Little Pop Tree about Spirited Away, and it's lovely. There's so much to it. And it's the coming of age aspect that really gets to me, because I really relate to that kind of situation. My first movie was Arrietty, not very known, but very lovely. Yes, Arrietty is very pretty, very nice. I mean, I'd read The Borrowers when I was a kid, so it's based on that. And I like how the main characters are so resourceful. Like, I find, yeah, I'm not a very resourceful person in the way that they are, but I did like that. The movie is confusing. Yes, The Howl's Moving Castle is confusing. Let me see. Wait. It really was. I guess I just let it wash over me. I'm due to revisit it. Yes. No, exactly. You have to just like suspension of disbelief. You have to just be part of it. Okay. Now that we've got people here, oh, there are 12 people around. Hello, everybody. Hello. Thanks for 2,000 subscribers. I'm saying it once again for those of you who are new here. Yeah. And also I wanted to get back to the medical school question by Nanana. If Nanana is still there, shout out to them for making my day. Everybody is making my day. I'm really happy about it. Howdy, nice tinfoil crown. Yes, it's tinsel, not tinfoil. But yes, it's, oh, you're still there. Well, yes, thank you for making that my day, because like there was this one person, I forget what her name was, but she had written to me how, like, at the start of my channel or like a few years ago, and then she wrote to me like a few years later, and she was like, oh, I started medical school thanks because she was an INFP who was going to go into med school, and she um, said, yeah, I started med school, and you were one of the inspirations to it, you know. The name had flower in the name, I forget, but that was also a really great comment to get, you know. And I have so many videos, it's impossible to sift through them in a correct way, or in a way that like actually, yeah, is logical or makes any sense. But yeah, I've probably said something about something. Like any question that somebody has, I've probably talked about it at some point in the videos, but where and when is impossible to say. So yes, what were we talking about? Yeah. Okay. So what was I? The Christmas party that I had at my work, we had that, and then there was a medical student who had brought banana bread, so that's my favorite kind of cake, so I was very happy. But then we also had a Secret Santa, where you basically, everybody puts their gift into a bag, and then you pick up a gift, and then that's what you get. And you know, I wasn't very ambitious. Thing is, I kind of feel guilty because I put in a very small gift and I got a very big gift. And usually it's the other way around. So now I'm a little bit like, okay. But so I brought a mug, which was a mug that a patient of mine had gifted me that I cannot use because it makes me feel kind of weird to use that mug, you know? Because you know, I don't really want to be thinking about my patients when I'm drinking tea or something. So it was a nice mug, it was nice shape and stuff, but it was like nothing special, it was just a mug. So I put some hot chocolate packages inside the mug, and I basically put it in a bag, put some tinsel on it, and voila, that was my gift, which did not cost me anything. And that was probably worth like maybe $6-7, you know, because it was a new mug. And what I got, I took the biggest and the heaviest package because why not, you know? I thought that everybody had the same idea of like what price the gift was supposed to be, like the price range. I thought that the price range would be between like 30 crowns, which is like $3, and maybe at the most 150 crowns, which is $15. Like I thought that was the range, and so I thought by putting myself in like the $7, I was right in the good range, you know, 70 crowns. What I got is this. I got a teapot, which is very cute. But also, I don't know, like I don't actually brew tea in the way that you're supposed to. Like I just put a tea bag. I have a kettle, and then I put a tea bag into a mug. I fill it with the hot water bottle. That's already an up. Sorry, am I back? And my phone went to tell me that there was an update. So anyway, so I got this teapot. I hope that you guys are back and that I haven't disappeared forever. Yes, okay, I'm here. Anyway, I also need to check on the okay, I have 25% left on my battery. So I think I will survive. Basically, yeah, so I usually, it's an upgrade from before when I was a heathen and would just microwave a cup of water in the microwave. Now I have a tea kettle, and then I use the tea kettle to boil the water, and then I fill several mugs with hot water, and then I'll reuse the same tea bag into 2 cups, and so I'll have like black tea into 2 of them, and then I'll have another mug which will be for my chamomile tea for like later in the day, so that I don't get caffeinated too much. So that's what I'll do. But now I have this, okay, and it has a lid, and it has a little seal like thing, and yeah, I don't know if this was somebody got it as a gift and didn't know what to do with it, so they just decided to give it away, because it is a little bit dusty. So I'm guessing that. I don't know who gave this. I don't know who it was. But yeah. But you know, they might have bought it from the warehouse and it would maybe have some dust on it. I don't know. But let's put it back in. So it's very minimalist, nice style with this little wooden thingy, but it's Marimekko. Like a Marimekko stuff is expensive. Like this is probably worth like $50 or something, maybe even 100. I don't even know. So I'm a bit intimidated to use this. So I thought, should I regift it for somebody in my family? And I realized, well, I'm the only person who can actually appreciate a teapot for what it is. You know, my parents drink coffee, they don't drink tea. And my grandfather drinks tea, but he just, you know, I don't think that he actually would like put the tea in the teapots and do the actual stuff that's required for using a teapot. I think like he's happy with his kettle, and you know, he has the same thing as me, where it's like he's happy with his kettle. But now I have this really fancy teapot, which I don't know what to do with. So yeah. And let's see. Tinfoil was intentional. Let's do some nefarious conspiracies. No, I don't want to do any conspiracies. You're so beautiful tonight. Grats. Thank you. How is being a doctor near Christmas? Okay, that's a good question. That's a circular Santa, not just Secret Santa. Yeah. I actually got something else from Secret Santa a few years ago, where I also gave a mug. I seem to just, when in doubt, just give somebody a mug. People will be happy. But I got this tea tray. So it seems that there's like a theme going on. I thought that this was going to be like a painting or something, because, you know, it was wrapped. But yeah, and I was a little bit disappointed at the time to have this, but now I'm very happy to have this, because now I can have a tea service. Look, I can have the tea pots. Okay, I have to be careful with this though. I can have the tea on a tray, and yeah, I can actually have a tea party, which would be exciting. At the moment, the tea tray has a lot of just like bookmarks and stuff on it, and I also have my steaming, basically my steaming objects are in these little bags, which I have my little stuff in here, which is like, you know, I have the puppets and I have the lavender smelling things and another lavender smelling thing. I I get them every Christmas, so I'll probably get more of these. Then I have the squishy thing, which is like a really sad state right now, and this banana thingy, and this other tube thingy, and then I also have my Play-Doh stuff in here. So I have it here in case I need it. I don't use it very often, but I have this on this tray on top of the table. And so I'll have it here, and then I'll read my books. So I also have been reading My Year of Rest and Relaxation, which I'm halfway. I don't know where this book is going. I hope that it's going somewhere, but I have a feeling from reading the reviews that it's not actually going to go anywhere. The main character is very unlikable, which is fun. I like those kinds of books. I like The Stranger by Camus, and I like The Perfume by Suskind. And so I like this too. But yeah, so it's basically a person who is depressed. It's a person who is depressed. And she just decides that she's going to, like, it's a kind of weird psychosis thing that she has, that like she's going to sleep for a year. That's kind of her thing. She's just going to rest and relax. And so she has a really bad psychiatrist who just basically prescribes her pills, any pill that she says. So she says that she has trouble sleeping and that she needs a bunch of sleeping pills, and then her psychiatrist just prescribes her a bunch of really strong sleeping pills. And so she kind of starts sleeping all day and losing track of time and becoming really a recluse. But also she starts doing crazy stuff while she's asleep, and so she gets like blackouts and stuff, which is quite crazy. But I do relate to, being really depressed. It does feel that way, like time doesn't flow in the same way. Maybe it's the same person offering a gift each year. No, because the tea tray was with the research colleagues from my research semester. And so they were a completely different group of people. But there was a Finnish girl who might, but no, that doesn't make sense. The Marimekko, my workplace doesn't have anybody who's Finnish right now. So I don't know. Marimekko is Finnish, for those of you who don't know. And usually it's that pattern with flowers. Yeah. Wait, let me see. Where are we? Some tea parties change the world, yeah. We need an INFP meetup tea ceremony pity party. We can do one day, yeah. It could happen, Sig Parvis. The world is getting smaller all the time. Yeah. So, yeah, we never give up on the INFP meetup, but, it was Cy Casserole who wanted to meet up in Chicago and stuff, but yeah, I don't know what happened to him, to be honest. But yeah, it's hard, because if even just writing Christmas cards feels very expensive for me, I don't feel like I can travel anywhere. Now my ESFP colleague wants me to go. There's this course that we have that is in Greece, that you're allowed to go to Greece for this one class at one point during your 5-year residency program. And it's a consultation course. So basically it's a course where you do the fun work of filming yourself pretending with different patients and learn how to speak and how to have a consultation. But you get to do it in Greece. The Kalymnos course, it's called. So it's like you're in Kalymnos, and yeah, so it costs a lot of money for my boss, but he did promise us that when we started our residency. And now my ESFP colleague has said that she wants to go on it next September. And so she's like, Ingrid, you have to come. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't want to travel. Like, yeah, so I don't know. I don't really feel like going to Greece, even though, like, yes, it would be fun, but it would be a course that is like the worst thing ever for my social anxiety. But yeah, so I should go, and I'm going to try to do it. But yeah, my budget is all messed up. I'll get to it later, but yeah, I'll get to it later. I'm going to France for the holidays, and I think that I need to plug in my phone. So we're going to have to move to the kitchen. I also might need to go to the bathroom at a certain point, so let's see. We need to move, you guys. I also applied to an apartment that is in the same building as my old apartment, but I don't think I'm going to get it. That's the thing. I liked my old apartment, but it was much smaller than the one I'm in now. But yeah, it's kind of this queuing system where, you know, and because I was working, I wasn't able to make it to the visit of the place. But the thing is, I told them, but I know what the apartment looks like. Can you give me the apartment without me seeing it? You know, like they have the visits like at 3 p.m. on an afternoon. Like, how am I supposed to go? Anyway, how about doing a Zoom meetup? It's better than nothing. Yeah. The thing is, I realized when I was doing my collaboration with older INFP Insights with Dee, is that I can only do Zoom on a computer, and the webcam of my computer sucks. And also, yeah, I have to sit here, which has like the worst light. But yeah, I'd be happy to. Also, thing is, like, I always have to do these in the middle of the night. So yeah, it's hard to coordinate with time zones. But yeah, I do that. I would, because I've done it with Dee, you know, and I've met up with Sick in real life. Thing is, we are INFPs, so I think a lot of us just would rather not meet up. I think that's the unfortunate truth. There's this autistic content creator, Morgan Foley, who does these meetups, and she does like these trips in different places around the world. And so now she's in Costa Rica, but she was doing like one in Peru or something. And I was like, who are these people? Who are these autistic people who want to go on a several-day trip across the world with new people that they've never met? And then I realized, it's it's the ADHDers. It's the ADHDers that do this. But you know, if you have both autism and ADHD, it might be a struggle. But I think that the ADHDers, I think that they're just called neurodivergent trips, not like autism trips. I think that the ADHDers want to go on these fun trips, but like the people who are just autistic is like, yeah, I cannot deal with several other people and shelling out that amount of money for like a trip that I might just have a meltdown in the middle of it. I I can't justify it, you know, because she has a trip planned to Japan. I want to go to Japan, but like, yeah, the price is like $2,000, and that's just for the accommodation and the activities and the food, and not even all the food. It's just like certain of meals. Um, but the the travel, the visa, that's not included. And like for me, like a plane ticket would cost $2,000 more, so that would suddenly get to like $4,000. Anyway, I'm on a rant because how do I say this? I found out today that my brother is not going to be at home on Christmas and that he is going to Japan. Which made me mad, and I kind of had to disconnect myself from the entire situation, because like my brother had said this apparently a few weeks ago, or like 2 months ago or something. Not even that. I think like it was just a few weeks ago. And my dad told me, because I haven't been talking to my brother on the phone because he hasn't wanted to talk to me, and my mom hasn't been talking to me. She sometimes like writes on Facebook, so on Messenger, but like my dad is the only one who's willing to talk to me on set times because, you know, he's an ISTJ. He likes and he's probably autistic too. So like the routine of it, my dad can follow like a time and we can actually talk. But like, so my dad said, yeah, he said my brother might go to Japan. He has some idea about that. And I was like, no, why is he going to Japan? And my dad said, yeah, I told him that, you know, it's not the best of ideas, especially it wouldn't be fair on you because you're coming here. I was like, okay, well, I didn't think it would amount to anything because, you know, this was like a month ago or something. So like I couldn't get how my brother would be able to get tickets to Japan like 1 month before, you know? I thought that this was something that you would need to plan for like months, even years, like the way that I have been doing. So I'm jealous of my brother because he gets to go to Japan with my parents' money because my brother doesn't work. He hasn't had a job. My brother probably has ADHD and he's failing his classes, and I don't, you know, he has exams at the end of the holiday, and I feel kind of like if it was me and I had exams, I would have been stressed out throughout the entire holidays trying to, you know, but some people can apparently not stress about their exams and still get grades, and they don't even care. Like my brother doesn't even care if he gets good grades, it seems, because like, yeah, I don't know. I guess that being the oldest sibling is kind of like an experience of like, you know, your parents were so strict with you and like they let your younger siblings do whatever they want. I feel like it's kind of a sense of that right now, because I wrote to my ISFJ friend because he has a younger sister. So yeah, we kind of bonded on that because I was like, why are our siblings just doing whatever they want and we are like here suffering? Yeah. At the moment, my ISFJ friend is in Thailand and he had been agonizing over that. So I'm glad that he's having fun now. But yeah, like for me, the Japan trip has been like a 2-year process of like, you know, trying to decide and get the money and do research, and it's not amounting to anything. Sometimes I wish I could just be more impulsive, but also like I don't have the possibility of being impulsive like that because it's my own money, you know. But like, yeah, my parents did not pay for a Japan trip for me. They did pay for a lot of my life throughout medical school, but like that's not anything more than what they're doing for my brother. So yeah, anyway, it's kind of sad because now I'll be going to France without seeing my brother. And I'll be stuck with my parents and my grandfather, who aren't like the most fun people to be around as a group, you know? I was kind of hoping that my brother would like save me from the situation, but yeah. Also, if my brother had told me a little bit earlier, maybe I could have plans to be in Japan at the same time as him and go and travel with these people. Maybe we could have celebrated Christmas in Japan. I don't know. But yeah, since I hadn't been told about this plan, like he hadn't told me about his plans, and apparently he'd been also hiding it from my parents somehow. Yeah. So yeah, I'm not going to Japan this Christmas, and that makes me sad. But it wasn't something that I was sad about to start with. I'm just I'm just sad because my brother is doing that now. And like it's a good thing that I got to know now because I had thought of buying him presents, but now like he's not even going to get the presents. So I bought a few small things which I'll bring with me and I'll leave with my parents to give to my brother once he comes home. But yeah, I don't know. Anyway, let me see. Where are we? You can call it a successful. Wait. Where are we? You can use your phone as a webcam source for the laptop. It's a discrete webcam. Seems like too much. I wanted to do that, but I couldn't figure out how to set it up. But maybe one day I'll do that. Yes, Zoom. Need a tutorial though, and technically challenge. Yes. Well, older INFP Insights manages to do the Zoom thing. I did do some of the Zoom thing when I was in medical school, but yeah, not anymore. I started to learn Teams, but now I don't have a Microsoft account anymore because I did something stupid with my computer. I don't know anymore. How about doing a Zoom? Wait, where are we? I think Google Meet can do. Zoom is really challenging. Yes, I had a friend who did Google Meet, which, yeah, I guess could be a thing. Can you call it a successful remote meeting if somebody doesn't inadvertently blurt something out when they thought they were muted? These things happen. Yes. Of course. It's not a corporate meeting, so no problem. I relate to you. I can't do things while not being very stressed, and I'm the youngest. During holidays, I wanted to go somewhere not far, and I've been stressing about it for more than 2 weeks, but I finally managed to take a decision. Oh, that's good. Can relate to your bureau. Had failed out a lot. Eventually got a 4-year degree. The school isn't really designed for some sorts of people, let alone learning concepts from first principles. Yeah, I do feel bad for my brother because like I have set a standard that he can't meet. Because like for me, like school comes, like my brother has the genius, but school comes naturally to me in that like I have more of the discipline and the being boring part of it. You know, like I can do some of that. Because you know I have autism and not the ADHD. But yeah, my brother could get good grades. Like there comes a certain point where you can't just get good grades from just your stroke of intelligence, you know. You have to put in the you know, the patience, the hard work, all of that stuff. And I got to that point when I was around 14, 15, where I was like, oh, like I can't just barely study for a test. Like I need to sit down and work. And so I spent all of my time on work, which wasn't healthy, but that's another thing. But my brother, he's only meeting that level, like that problem now. Like he got really good grades throughout all of school with barely any study. But now it comes to a point at university where it's hard, you know. And my brother is 20, turning 21 soon. So yeah, there comes a point where the wall hits, and I don't want the wall to hit for him, but you know, it seems like that's what all this difficulty with school is heading to, you know. And I don't think that my parents understand it, but they kind of just like leave it alone. And it's very similar to my ADHD cousin. So that's why I think that's basically my ADHD cousins, his parents also don't really try to care too much about what he's doing. And so my cousin, like, he just moved to Texas for, like, you know, he was living in another state, you know, in the DC area. So he moved from Maryland to Texas just on a whim, kind of thing. And his parents paid for it all, and he just did whatever. In the end, he ended up getting a girlfriend who he is now married to, and stuff like that. But the thing is, it's like it's scary when you just see people doing impulsive things and you can't do anything about it because you can't control it, and you don't want to limit their freedom, but like at the same time, like, it's hard to say if it's going to be a good decision or not until like after the facts have happened. There could have been better ways to do this. There could have been a way of like, okay, if you'd said a few months in advance, like, okay, I'm planning on going to Japan. What are your plans for Christmas? And I could have said, oh, I thought of visiting you guys in France, but maybe I wouldn't have done that, you know, or maybe I wouldn't have gone to France, you know, had I known that my brother wasn't there, you know. You know, but we need to have communication, but like nobody wants to talk to me. So like the only person who wants to talk to me is my dad, who wasn't informed about all this stuff. So yeah, that's where we are. I'm not going to be talking about this more, unless there's something in the questions here. Let's see. Okay, so I hope that you have a good holiday, Sick. Sorry you won't be with your brother during that time. I have a much younger brother too, though couldn't see him skipping the holidays like that. I like how you spell the holidays. Hopefully you'll both be reunited soon in life. Yeah, no, I mean, it's fine. I mean, we'll meet at some point again, and it's okay. It's just, yeah, I just, you know, I'm kind of like that old lady who's like, the nerve, you know, like, why would you do that, you know? And yeah, so I guess I will never understand how it is to be in my brother's brain, but like, yeah, I feel like, oh, so I'm just like trying to accommodate everyone all the time, and then like people don't adapt to me, they just do whatever they want. So maybe I should do whatever I want, you know. Honestly, I didn't study hard, but somehow managed through school, even in uni. Yeah, well, so my brother had been doing well, but like he's come to the point where he has he's not really managing. But yeah, he still lives with my parents, so I guess they can help him out a bit. I passed physics by guessing on every question on the final exam, living 5 minutes into the session. They weren't happy about it, but it worked. Colleagues, physics. That's impressive. A lot of people on here are very smart. I cannot do that. I can barely count. Don't say that to my patients, but like, yeah. I couldn't afford not caring about school, even if I had very good grades. Yeah, no, I mean, thing is, you were in a kind of like survival situation. So, yeah. That's impressive. I studied physics too and some managed university. To be fair, the academic requirements didn't require anything beyond a D from with classic graduates, so I put the equal effort. Focus on other things. That's good. Believe it or not, without studying, I was the top of my class for 15 years. I still don't understand how I did it. Yeah, but see, like there are some people who can just do that. And I kind of could do that when I was in primary and in middle school somehow. But yeah, I couldn't do that all the way. My brother could do it all the way, but it's until he started university. And I think that the part of it is the lack of structure that he has in his life. And I think that for him, he needs that structure in order to get anything done. Well, for me, I was like, oh, I finally get some freedom. So I kind of kept myself on track, but my brother can't do that. Like, yeah. I'm not saying that I have like great executive functioning skills. I don't. Like, I procrastinate a lot, but because I was aware of how much I procrastinated and stuff, I literally spent all of my time trying to manage school, which was a big difference from how I was when I was, in middle school or in primary school, where I didn't need to spend all my time studying because I just was brilliant that way, I guess. Okay, I'm not going to 7 years of my life, kidding. I was only 5 on and off. Okay, I'm going to try to move away from that topic because I don't want to, make anybody feel bad about how school, but yeah, so anyway, where was I? Okay, so let's go to the next phase of this, which is basically, I think that I need to make food. I think I need food. No, there's nothing to offend. I'm just saying that I had some other, like, I want to talk about more positive topics because this is a 2,000 subscriber video. Now, okay, so there's some people who like to watch my INFP videos, some people who like to watch my autism videos. There are people who want to watch, my, what's it called? The medical studies videos, and then there's the crochet poetry videos, the book review videos. But yeah, I haven't done any crochet poetry videos. I haven't gotten into the crochet. Daydreaming, Owen art. Geez, INFP stereotype personified. Yeah, so that's where I didn't conform to the stereotype. Oh, you guys didn't see Fern's hats. I put them on Instagram, so the people who know. But here, Fern, I painted these little hats for him. So here is Christmas Fern with a little hat, and this is a wizard's Fern with his little hat. So these are just egg cartons that I painted. And I have him here. So I put little fern there. Anyway. Poetry has been well, lovely. Yeah, we like fern. We have, yeah, so there are certain like running jokes that pass around here. And it's fun, you know, it's a community of people here, and I like that. But there is the person who likes to watch the lives, and then there's the people. Apparently, Dee likes to watch the cooking show. She calls it. So that's what I also do, the cooking, which is the lives. But this time I don't have a HelloFresh because I have to save a little bit of money for Christmas. Now that I'm not buying a present for my brother anymore, like not to the same extent as I've bought him some few small things, but like, yeah, I didn't have to buy him an actual present because he's not going to be there. Yeah, I could have bought the HelloFresh, but I didn't know at the time. So I don't have a HelloFresh, but what I do have is some fish sticks that need to be apparently cooked in the oven, and I have some carrots that I could also put in the oven at the same time, I guess. We'll see how that goes. This live is already very long, but I don't care at this point. How about people who watch everything? Yes, well, exactly. There are some people who watch everything. It's very hard to make this channel go round because like a lot of people, some people will only watch one kind of video and some people will watch the other kind, and yeah, it's hard to know what to do, and also like what context the people have that are watching, because like sometimes I'll be starting to talk about MBTI and then I'll realize, wait, nobody knows what I'm talking about. Like people who are on this channel who have no idea what an INFP is. Yeah. Also, a lot of people just watch my short, and so I thank those people, but then they watch the shorts and they're like, what is an INFP? And I'm like, why did you click on this video? It says INFP in the title. And I get so confused because it's like sometimes I'll click on a video where I don't really understand the premise, but like I wouldn't just comment like without Googling it first. So sometimes I get a little bit like, how do people come across my videos? I don't know. Some don't watch Folie à Deux, but some don't watch Folie à Deux. Yeah, that's... Why are you so adamant that I watch that movie? I am sorry, I'm not going to watch that movie. Now I almost am not doing it out of spite. I'm not going to do it because I can't. No, I mean, I watch like 2 movies a year. Like that's basically it. I'm not going to waste that opportunity of watching a movie that I actually have on my list of things to watch for watching any other movie. That's why like anybody who recommends movies to me is just like it's just going out. I also am kind of wary of any movie that talks about anything French that is not a French movie. Okay, that is just my thing. But like, the perception of how French people are and using French expressions, I'm like, it just makes me cringe on the inside. So it's just a personal ache for me. So yeah, I'm not going to watch Folie à Deux. I might have been more diplomatic in my comments, but like, yeah, I'm not going to do it. Because I'm gonna love it more than Amélie. No. There's nothing, no movie I'm going to love more than Amélie Poulain. Okay. I I like maybe Spirited Away gets to the same level of Amélie Poulain, but yeah, it's my comfort movie. I'm not going to watch anything else and be to the same level. It's not even that good of a movie, you know. That like the plot barely makes sense, but like it is my movie, so no, I'm not going to love it more than Amélie. I know how French people are. I'm an INFP from. Where's that? Tlemcen. Oh, Algeria. Yeah, no, I mean, no. I will not watch a movie that has a French title. That is, yeah, that's not French. And maybe I'll like it, yes. Maybe I will. But I resent people forcing movies on me. So yeah, it's a joke. Well, yeah. See, I'm autistic. I don't get jokes. Sometimes it's just, you know, I take things literally. But I'm glad that you said that it was a joke, because you know, you know, it's hard to joke online sometimes, because it's like, what's the context? You know, I don't have all of your context, and you don't have all of my context. So if I write, like, if you write and I write something like that sounds a little bit rude back, it's because of all of this other stuff that you wouldn't know. And so, you know, you wouldn't know that I, you know, only watch a certain amount of movies, that I resent people giving me recommendations of movies. And that I have this weird thing about French titles, whatever. Like, you wouldn't know all of that. So, like, it's hard. It's hard to do jokes. I think that's why there's emojis. But even emojis are hard to interpret. So, I don't know. You know that, like, the crying emoji could mean 10,000 things. So yeah, you know, like, I'm okay with jokes, but I need to know the person a little bit more beforehand. Like, I can't just, like, take a joke from a stranger, like, you're on thin ice, my friend. You're on thin ice. Because that's the kind of thing that I got bullied for. So yeah, I get emotional about these things. So please be mindful when you're doing a joke. Like, tell me quite early on. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to make myself a little sandwich, because So I've got some cream cheese, and I'm just going to put it onto the bread. Okay. This is how I eat. When I'm not doing HelloFresh, this is what I do. You know, that's YouTube is but a front. It's only a performance. Oh, okay. Context is everything. Congrats on the 2,000 subs. Oh, hello, Kit. Hello, hello. I love receiving the comments. Okay. Yeah, so the next part of this was basically cooking something, because I haven't eaten dinner. Maybe I'll do a separate video of doing Christmas cards. Because I think I need to concentrate when I'm doing the Christmas cards. And so I can't really talk while I'm doing Christmas cards. Oh yeah, I was going to see if I found Christmas goats in the Christmas cards. I think I maybe will just buy the stamps and do the thing. Because it did make me happy last year writing the Christmas cards to the people all around the world. I have most of your guys' addresses, but yeah. Okay. There are these two cards that remind me of Carm. Just makes me laugh every time. So this makes me think of Carm every time. So first we've got is Petson och Findus, which are like these Swedish kid illustration. Like it's like a book where he it's basically just this guy with his cat, and it's a storybook for children, and he's just basically a hermit who lives with his cat, and he can talk to his cat. And I don't know, I just think that it's Carm. So it's Petson and Findus. And here's another one of Petson and Findus eating Christmas food. So there's the rice pudding. Yeah, it's just nice. I don't know what happens to his foot here, but yeah, I like Petson and Findus. It's kind of whimsical, eccentric stuff. Anyway, otherwise I just have like regular Christmas cards with like Father Christmas. And I have this one is Ploop in the nature with the moose, which I find kind of funny. Here are some some little Santa elves like skiing on the roof. I have some traditional ones too. Oh, this is the Christmas the Christmas pudding, the rice pudding with the little elves. This one I like because it's like, but the problem is it's like recycled paper, but it's the world, so for international people. But yeah, so I have a little bit more cards, but I don't have the stamps, so yes, I think about you all the time when I have that card. I have it here like in front of me too, so that I could write it. But yeah. Actually, I am from Algeria. I studied architecture in French language and it was hard for me. Actually, it's not a joke. I am from Algeria. That's the punchline, you know. But please, you don't understand. Arthur is not INFP at all. INFPs will, you know, get touched when they, you know, understand him. Davy Jones. I don't understand when you're joking or you're not, so I'm not going to reply because you're not expressing yourself clearly. And the American Santa Claus is known as the Coca-Cola Santa in Iceland. And the same holds true in Sweden. Kit, are you from Iceland? I forget where you're from. I mean, he could be called the Coca-Cola Santa, because he is. The thing is, like, okay, so before it used to be the Christmas goat would come, you know, which wild the Christmas goat would come with presents, but okay. And I think that Sweden did not really get like Saint Nicholas or Sinterklaas in the same way as like Germany and other countries in that area did. So they skipped directly from, I think, the Christmas goats to Santa Claus. The only thing is that Santa Claus is basically has a lot of elves that are basically just like mini Santa Clauses, you know? These little guys who just like eat porridge all day. No, but like they're, I guess, you know, kind of like the folklore, the traditional folklore that they would have these little mini Santas. So basically, the tradition when there was the Christmas goats, there were also those mini Santas, like the little brownies or what you would call them. These little elves that will come around in your house, and they might prank you, or they might be kind to you, leave you little presents. But yeah, so when I was small, I thought that the way that Santa Claus could work was because he didn't go individually to every person's house. Like he would actually dispatch his elves, his mini Santas, to the different areas of the world. So that's why I kept seeing the same Santa. Because also in my house in Sweden, you would have a person of the family dress up as Santa. And so it was my grandfather. And so I would see my grandfather. I recognized Santa every year, which kind of like made me believe in Santa more. So I was that kind of like naive kid. Okay, that's something that was very idealistic of me. I believed in Santa Claus embarrassingly long time. Which, you know, kind of goes against the whole thing of me being a logical person. But I kind of wanted to believe in it, so I did, you know? And also the fact that the Santa that I knew, which was my grandfather, knew how to speak several languages, which helped create this illusion that this was the real Santa, you know? Or that he was one of Santa's elves that was dispatched specifically to my house because I could speak the same languages as this as this Santa could, you know? So by not believing, I didn't believe in like the reindeer stuff. You know, I didn't believe in, you know, the flying sleigh. I believed that like Santa just had this international network of elves that could just like, you know, he would have like a meeting once a year with all the elves, and he would say like, okay, I want to dispatch you to this area and dispatch you to this area. And, you know, because that would make sense. Also with the time zones, you know, you would have to dispatch them at different times and they would have to be at different places. So that's the way that I justified it. I know that a lot of people would say like, oh, that's mean of your parents for like, you know, tricking you and lying to you about it. And I was upset when I found out that it wasn't real, because I saw the bag that the Santa would come in with. I saw it in the house before Santa actually came. And you know, as I got older, they had to start hiding it more and more. But then my brother started, you know, he went to see Santa, so I started realizing. So I believed in Santa until I was 11 or something like that, because yeah, my brother was like very small, but I think I must have been like 11. yeah. So I believe that it's a long time. Anyway. For your carding grid, it will arrive with a delay. Yes, I know. It's okay. In California, I have an Icelandic friend. Apparently in Iceland they have like a Christmas cat. But like the cat's kind of mean. I don't know what the actual thing. I've actually been getting a lot of Krampus videos in my Instagram feed, which seems terrifying. Apparently it's like an Austrian slash Swiss slash Bavarian thing. Of like Krampus is like the evil one who whips children and gives them coal. But like people all dress up as Krampus, and that is very terrifying. But it's an interesting tradition. Before Santa Claus in France, they would say that the Christmas bells would bring like the bells themselves somehow would spring up presents from the bells, which makes sense, you know, the church and Jesus and stuff. So a lot of traditional French Christmas art or stuff like that would feature bells a lot. The Santa network is actually quite magical. Yeah, well, I thought that it was like, it makes sense, you know? Santa can't do it all on his own. He needs his helpers, you know? And there are a lot of songs. There's that song, the Tip Tap, which is, I've sang it before in the Lucia song video from last year. But basically, it's basically a song about how the little elves would tip tap with their little feet. They would hide. And they go tip tip tap, and then you're like, yeah, it's midnight, and the little elves come, and they start eating the stuff that you've left out of the house. Which yeah, it's fun. Okay, let's see, where are we? I didn't know about bells, yeah. When I was little, my uncle called pretending to be Santa and made no attempt to disguise his voice. Who knew Santa was so nasally? Santa was ahead of his time by having the first multinational corporation. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought was, yeah. Because I was like, yeah, okay, so they would have to have a sled. Then I couldn't really explain why. But I really thought, like, I had this book about the traditions of Christmas in other places. I really thought, like, okay, so in those areas, Santa doesn't have a helper, that he doesn't need a helper in that area, you know? So I read about, like, well, Sinterklaas or the Saint Nicholas, and how, you know, I read how, okay, and in Germany he would be the one who would give the presents. So Santa Claus didn't need a helper for that place because, you know, somehow somehow there's an interconnectedness of these different magical beings that they could, like, they had a coalition or something, like they could, you know, they were like colleagues in this work of giving presents for Christmas. You know, like in Italy they would have the Befana, the witch, who would give the presents. So like there it was like that. My dad had told me about how in Spain Christmas wasn't a big thing, but on the 6th of January it was the Three Wise Kings Day, the Epiphany Day, and so that was a big thing, and so that's when he would get his presents. So I was aware of, like, the fact that there were different cultures and stuff. The thing that I couldn't really guess, though, and that was kind of sad, was how certain kids would get really good presents and certain wouldn't. The thing is, we had the tradition in my house that there were presents from Santa, and then there were presents that were not from Santa. And so I figured that, oh, okay, well, since some kids don't believe in Santa, that their parents would be buying presents according to their means. So I kind of justified this way in a strange way. But I couldn't, it's kind of like the concept of God, you know, like I couldn't justify to myself, like, why, the flaw in my system was, why would Santa care about if you believe in him or not? You know, shouldn't a good, wise Santa / God care about whether you believe in him or not in order to give you his gifts / blessings? So yeah, I couldn't really reconcile with that. But otherwise, I thought I developed the perfect system, which was true, obviously. German efficiency, even in Christmas. Well, he apparently lives in Rovaniemi, Finland, so I guess that they're quite efficient there too. It's not the French. It's not the French administrative system. Anyway, let's see. Yeah, what should I cook? Like, I'm just eating the Philadelphia cream cheese at this point, but I am hungry. I'll see if I can make the fish sticks. Yeah, also, by the way, if anybody wants to write in the comments any questions, there is still the opportunity. Okay. I thought Camille was from Algeria and he was 9 at B. Yes. I don't know, like, what is your thesis? What are you trying to say? Because your comments are all over the place. You're talking about Algeria, you're talking about INFPs, you're talking about Folie à Deux, you're talking... Please be clear. I'm not joking. And I don't understand what you are joking about. So, yeah. I do happen to have a disability that affects my communication skills. So I'm afraid that you will have to be more clear. Anyway, you might not want to see the state of my kitchen at this point, because it's a mess. And I did do the dishes earlier, but okay. Or to just go here. I'm going to try to like do a little bit of cleaning. I really have a mess here. I cut some apples on this and then I didn't wash it directly afterwards, and then it all got all crusted into the cutting board. Okay, well, I guess I'm not going to be using this cutting board for a while. I'm keeping you guys plugged into the wall here. In France, it would be les cadeaux sont taxés à hauteur de 30%, mais si vous inquiétez pas. Well, I mean, Swedish taxes. Consider doing a cooking video based on authentic Viking cuisine. Viking cuisine? I don't know what Viking cuisine is. I mean, I've done videos with like weird Swedish foods. But I don't know what Viking cuisine is. Like, what do they eat? Like, they eat potatoes, I guess. potatoes, but they couldn't even eat potatoes because it was, I mean, like, this is way before America. Okay, I have these potatoes. Sorry, I was saying potatoes because I was thinking of my potatoes I have here. I don't know what you're supposed to do. Okay, these are some potatoes that are already like have spices on them. So you just put them into here, or you can put it into the oven, but I'm going to use my stove. It says that you need to put some oil, so I need to clean this pan. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys about that I got, my boss actually gave me a birthday present, like a month later. So I have an Amazon gift card, but like I've been boycotting Amazon as much as I could, but now I have a gift card. So I'm going to use that and maybe buy some books for a book for my grandfather and a book for my dad. Okay, here we go. We're just going to be putting the oil. Okay, I know that you guys aren't used to this angle, but we're here. We're here right now. Okay. So you guys can't appreciate the sizzling and all this stuff. But we're going to just put some light on. But I've been thinking, like, maybe, you know, because my boss is not giving me a raise, so I'm like yes, like I get a certain percentage more of my salary every year, but in comparison to inflation, it doesn't even go up higher than the inflation. So I'm technically earning less money than I did when I started my residency, which really sucks. So I'm worth a gift, you know. Anyway, so we're going to be letting that sizzle. We'll see if I need the fan, but okay, that was the Philadelphia cream cheese little meal that I made to myself. Okay, where are we? Because, oh wait, better late than never. I believe Vikings ate a lot of salmon and yogurt, among other things. Yes, salmon. Salmon is something that they would eat. Yogurt does not come from Scandinavia, so I mean, I guess that they would have their other kinds of, they would have filmjölk, which I've done a video on. But they wouldn't have, you know, Greek or Turkish yogurt. Or, you know, the kinds of Middle Eastern yogurt stuff. You know, France had fromage blanc and ficelle, but France was much more about cheese. I don't think that Sweden was as much of a yogurt culture. I don't know. Okay. I'm just going to move these around a bit. So yeah, maybe I'll do a HelloFresh one day with some salmon. Yeah. thing is, like, salmon is so expensive, so you almost have to do it in a HelloFresh way. Yeah, because otherwise it just costs a lot of money. I would do it in a HelloFresh. And I really do like salmon. I don't usually like a lot of fish, but I like salmon. I like baked salmon. I like smoked salmon. I like gravad sill, which is the, what's it called? Gravad lax, which is like pickled. I don't know what you call it. Not pickled. Maybe some Swedish person can help me to explain what gravad lax is. It's basically like put into vinegary stuff. And they put some dill and stuff on it. Yeah. I mean, otherwise, like, there's the polar bread, which is a thing that you eat. Let's see. With this view, the foil falling behind you, they look like a fighter. I believe Vikings eat a lot of salmon yogurt. Oh, okay. Salmon is really good, but apparently they say the cans here contain some mercury or something. No, you mean tuna, I think. I like tuna too. Actually, I like I like more fish than I thought I would. I like salmon, I like tuna. But tuna, I usually... My mom said that when she grew up, she ate a mayo and tuna sandwich every day of her school time. And then she found out about the risk of mercury in the tuna. So, yeah, she's maybe been poisoned by mercury her whole life. We don't know. No, I don't eat fish, like, at all. Yeah, I rarely eat fish. I don't really love anything other than tuna or salmon, pretty much. I will eat other kinds of fish, and sometimes they will be very good. And for some weird reason, I like sturgeon fish. Like, it's pretty meaty. I like that. But it's not a food that you would usually eat. Otherwise, I like sushi. But sushi is often salmon and tuna and sometimes other kinds of fish. I'm okay with sardines, but not my favorite. I'm okay with certain white fishes, but mostly not. Yeah, not my favorite food. But so I have this yeah, fish sticks that are kind of high-end fish sticks, which I might put in the oven soon too. Yes, you mixed. Does Fern have a Christmas hat? Wait. Hello, Martin. Yes, I was explaining here that Fern has a wizard hat. Here. and has a Christmas hat. Here. And it's basically like an egg carton piece. So he sits here and has, there, like that. I like it. It looks really loud. Kind of funny. Oh, this is the carved nuts that my my INTP German friend brought from Namibia. It has like these animals carved into it. So yeah, that's kind of nice. Some living in there. Okay, I need to check on the potatoes, so we're going to have to move back here. Sorry, you guys are coupled to the wall, and so therefore, like the cable brings the phone with it. Ah. Okay. I guess that this is okay. Yeah. Okay. Ugh. This tinsel is kind of scratchy in my hair. The goal in this live is for Vondel Pete to arrive with his Australian time zone. No, it's not my goal, but I'm joking. I'm just saying, like, that would be funny though. That's the sense when I've done lives for too long. That's when he comes by like last second, and I'm like, oh no, I wanted to keep talking. But you know, Australian time zone is like way another field. You know. Okay, not bad for like the sell by date was today, so that's why I got it for a little bit better. I checked some video from Ingrid's recap from YouTube. It was nice. Oh yes, the carved nuts are very cool. Sorry I missed you talking about the hat earlier. It's okay. Sardines rock. Yes. No, Martin makes music. Colleague from Adelaide who went there for Christmas. Oh, it's fun to see people like in the comments who like get to know each other through the YouTube comments. Like, you know, what a weird world we live in. Yeah, but we still haven't figured out how to do the meetup, but apparently like a Zoom meetup would be good if everybody knows how to do the technology. And also if we're all okay with being in separate time zones. Because like I've done that with Older INFP Insights. The problem is that I get weirdly shy when I'm like, both times I did it with Older INFP Insights, I'm like, I suddenly don't know what to say. Because it feels like I'm talking to strangers when it's not really, but it kind of is. Because you feel like you know a person, but then like you actually haven't ever talked to them. So it's a weird situation for me, and I don't really know how I would react. I do want to meet people. I wanted to meet Vondel Pete in Japan, but I don't know when that's going to happen. I haven't given up hope. I hope that that's going to happen someday. Because now, like, Vondel Pete has more of the means now to travel. So we, like, I haven't given up on that. And yeah, I mean, we have Schumann. I am going to mention him, even though he doesn't want to be mentioned in YouTube videos. I do have contact with Schumann. But yeah, I think it's too scary for him, for me to come visit, so I probably will never visit him. We're both introverts, so I get it, you know. Wait, is Crumb going to take off now? Good to hang out. Happy 2000 again. Happy holidays to y'all. Yes. Bye, Carm. Where is Martin from? From England. Yeah. Sick is from Algeria. But yeah, we met in France. You mentioned that you don't like how people use French words in movies and said people don't know French people. I'm from Algeria, and I said, I know. Yeah, but that's not the point, Davy Jones. It doesn't matter because if you're the one who suggests the video, it's just, or the movie. The thing is, anybody who suggests a movie that's, you know, that has French in the title, when it's not a French movie, it doesn't matter who you are. I will automatically say no. Even if you have vetted it, I'm not going to watch that movie. Yeah. But yes, thanks for trying to clear things up. I'm still confused about how the conversation went, but that's just my autism speaking, I guess. Okay. It's hard to cook like potatoes on the stove just like that. You know, usually I would boil it, or I don't know. I don't know what I would do. But yeah, it's starting to smell a little bit good. I can't eat that many potatoes in one sitting, but I'll eat some, at least. I'm going to see if I can do the fish thingy. I'm really wanting to come and see you. As Ingrid said, I'm not joining, I'm living in France. Thanks. I know from a video you made about your favorite character of INFP, and they are all from movies, so I feel obligated to pass the message. Yeah, of course. Why should I say something that I don't mean? Sometimes people are like, what are you doing with me? Okay. Okay. Like if I say I won't watch it, I won't watch it, you know? Do I have to do the neurotypical thing of like saying, oh, I'll think about it? No. You can't boss me around like that. Yeah. No, but to be real, that does make me a little bit uncomfortable. Like, yes, I understand. If I make a video about movies that I am watching, people will send recommendations of movies to watch, and that's fine. But you are very insistent. It's like, okay, at a certain point, like, calm down. let me eat. Let me do my stuff. So yeah, I am taking it a little bit personally because you are insisting very much. Like you've said this about 4 times now. And when I say I'm not going to watch it, it doesn't mean that I'll never watch it ever in my life, but I'm not watching it, I'm not planning to watch it now. Not in the next several months at least. Maybe a year from now, maybe 10, maybe never. We'll see. Okay, there's my potatoes. Sorry for getting mad. I'm just, you know, that's the only way to survive with having a YouTube channel, by the way. For those of you who want to create a YouTube channel. Okay, I'm going to take off this because it scratches my scalp. Okay, I got stuck in my hair now. Okay. Oof. Okay, so I got some potatoes. That's like basically French fries at this point. Don't make me feel like like a failure. Yeah, I understand that you're a huge film fan. Like, I'm not. Bon appetit. Yes. I need a fork. The potatoes are kind of dry, but they are filling, so that is a good point. So maybe I'll have a little bit more of a better temper after I've eaten. Okay. So now Carm has left us. We've got 13 people on the chat. I am thankful for all of you, even the ones who I don't understand the comments about. Which it makes me sound like Trump. You know, what was this thing with it? He was like, Happy Valentine's Day to everybody, even the haters. It's like, it's like, yeah, I love everybody, but I don't, yes, I do. It just, you know, it uses a lot of energy and stresses me out when I don't understand what somebody is meaning. And also when people pressure me about different things. And that's part of like, I've done a lot of studying now about PDA, and now I realize like maybe the PDA concept isn't very useful, but I don't know how to explain it in any other way. The pathological demand avoidance of autism shouldn't really be a term that is still used. But some autistic advocates have called it persistent drive for autonomy, which is supposed to be a profile of autism or of ADHD. And I don't think it's a profile. I think it's just a feature of kind of trauma. And if you're autistic or ADHD, you probably have some trauma that about social situations that warrants feeling like you're being controlled, and you don't want to be controlled, so you often get, I don't know, so I get sometimes really strong, almost like bodily reactions to like somebody telling me what to do. And sometimes it's not even like they're giving me an order, they're just like suggesting something. Or they'll say like, watch this movie, you know? Or they'll say, maybe it would be better if you got yourself a dishwasher instead of doing the dishes. It would help you. It's like, it's good advice, but I get a visceral reaction of like, no, I don't want to do that, you know? And that is some of my least favorite things about autism, is that, so I don't, in certain ways, I can be very obedient and like just follow along and not be my own person and be trampled on, but then there comes a certain things, sometimes they're not even logical, really set me off, and then I'm like, no, and I want to run away and scream and shout and hit somebody, and it's like, no, we're not doing that. We are adults in a civilized context. But yeah, it's a trauma response, and I'm tired of everything being called a trauma response these days, but in this case this is, and so yes, sometimes I get triggered by like people just genuinely wanting to be friendly, and I don't really know how to work on that, to be honest. I think that the way for me to work on it is to find ways that I can control my life outside of that whole situation. I can relate. I do that sometimes. It really sets off the PDA. So do you also have that? Yeah, it sucks, but like I get that, and then I get kind of like dysregulated afterwards. So if I haven't eaten, then it's more likely to trigger off them. Because it leads also to like this sense of like, yeah, the sense of confusion is also extremely dysregulating. So here we are. Okay. Yeah. So I don't really know what I'm going to do with Christmas cards. I will write some for my parents and my brother. Even though I won't be seeing my brother, that sucks, but... And my grandfather. I'm going to see him, at least. And then we'll see if I buy the stamps, and then maybe if I send them off. I hope people still live at the same addresses that they usually live at. Of course they live at the same addresses they usually live at. The one that they previously lived at last year. Yeah, okay, Martin, you also have autism. Okay, well, that makes sense. Well, yeah, it's so hard to explain. I try to explain it to my probably neurotypical ISFJ friend, my best friend. I was like, yeah, sometimes there are just certain situations where I just feel like I need to run away and scream and say no. And that makes no sense. So like that was confusing for him. So I don't really know how to explain it. And ADHD as well, says Debbie Jones. Yeah, well, yeah. It's hard. There's an information, there's an understanding in this little community. Yeah, we all have been going through these things. That sucks. But so, yeah, it's hard because I can't really say when it's going to happen. Because I don't get that kind of reaction when somebody is like recommending a book to me. But a movie, it seems like that is enough to set me off. Okay. Oof, this was a lot of potatoes. This is a lot of potatoes. Okay. Okay, I found the pens. I'm glad I'm not like just like everyone else. You mean the autism? That makes you different? Yeah, sure. But yeah, that's good. It's just it comes with its challenges. Where like it's ridiculous because like autism makes you want things to make sense, but then if you can't even make sense of yourself, that really sucks. Yeah, I was kind of planning of making a video of like how autism can look like ADHD, even though it's not ADHD. I should probably also make a PDA video as well, but I don't know where my feelings are really on the subject yet, so I haven't really done that. I also don't know about the whole ADHD, the autism extended traits theory. I kind of go back and forth about that, so I don't know if I'll ever make a video about it because I'm not certain about. I'm never certain, but I'm not sure about anything on the subject. So we can't know ourselves. It's strange how sometimes we can know a lot about the world, but not ourselves. Yeah, but sometimes I feel like, oh, I know myself, and then I'm like, no, I don't know anything, or like, I don't understand anything about the world, you know. But sometimes I'm like, oh, I understand a lot. So I don't know. But yeah, so I kind of feel that a lot of people with both autism and ADHD say like, oh, this is my autism, this is my ADHD, and they're like fighting between themselves. And so, yeah, I don't have ADHD. I have only the autism, and yet a lot of the way that I am makes people think that I, and sometimes I wish that I could just. It would be better for me sometimes to tell people that I'm ADHD because they would understand why I'm having difficulty with a certain thing, as opposed to explaining that it's my autism. So if I give an example, so I have a hard time coming to time to work, and that's because I have to do several things before I come to work. And if I wake up late, I can't, there are certain things I can skip, but I will be dysregulated all day if I skip the certain things in the morning. And if I could just say, oh, I have ADHD, I'm not saying that people would get it, but people would understand it better and be like, oh, okay, so that's why you don't come on time, that kind of thing. Or that I have all of this disorganization on my desk. People, if I could just say, oh, I have ADHD, that's why my desk is disorganized, okay, people don't understand ADHD completely, but like they get that that's a core thing of it. But the reason that it's disorganized is because I have my own system, and it's not that I can't put the things back, but also I am burnt out because of my autism, and that I don't have the energy to put things back always, and so the things that are affecting my executive functioning are actually my autism, and it's not my ADHD because I don't have that. But that would involve getting very deep into a lot of concepts of autism that I can't get into with people, So yeah, make sense of a serial killer in the USA, for example, let's say Ted Bundy. What are you even talking about, Davy Jones? You have lost me. Hello, says Charlie Hedberg. Are you also Swedish? Oh, svensk, yeah. Now this is English, and this whole chat is in English, but there are some Swedish people in the chat. What I meant by the world is facts, not the world is human experience. Oh yeah. But I don't even know that many facts about the world. I know like some niche facts about certain things, but I don't remember them. I just have the vibes. I wish I had that kind of encyclopedic knowledge that some autistic people have, but I don't have that really. Makes sense is what makes sense in evil of all kinds. Okay. Both. Jag tror att vi är 2 andra svenskar i chatten. This question is ADHD was living grade 3 in my head. Okay. You said we like to make sense. Okay. Min engelska är dålig. Ja. Men Charlie, vad ska vi göra? Vi kan inte prata svenska för alla engelska personer i chatten. Okay. Well, poor Charlie cannot do the English. Okay. So we'll have to continue in English here. What does autism and ADHD have to do with a serial killer? I don't want to talk about Ted Bundy. Okay. I have to go. Happy winter. Okay. Bye, Kit. Bye. We get to see you speaking Swedish. Yeah. Well, I speak Swedish every day in general. But my YouTube videos are in English because I find that my thoughts flow better in English, and also that I can reach to a wider audience in English. I have done some crochet poetry videos that have some Swedish. Otherwise, I don't think I have a lot of Swedish on my channel. I have one video, like 2 videos in French. That's it. But yeah, otherwise it's in English. And I found out that my videos now auto-dub to English. Like, apparently there's some toggle somewhere that I can flip off, but I don't know where it is, so I couldn't find it. So I didn't do it. But I really hate when like it automatically does an auto dub on some, like I'm watching French videos and then like it auto dubs to English, and it's like, no, I know. Kan man prenumerera en kanal? Ja, det är klart. That's the whole point. Exactly, we don't see you speaking English on the channel. Swedish on the channel. Man kan, om man vill. Har du sett mina videos förut? Eller är det här första? I så fall gratis. Första gången. Yeah, so anyway, yeah, I don't know if there are any new people. I think that all of these people that are here still are people who usually watch my channel. If not, welcome. I don't know what you're doing here on my 2,000 subscriber channel, but yeah, I'm basically done with what I wanted to do. I wanted to maybe write the Christmas cards, but I feel that I might have to do that later, like on my own, when I am a little bit more inspired to write them, because I need to figure out if I'm going to buy stamps for like international cards or not. I have the people's addresses of the people that I went to send it to. You know who you are, pretty much. But yeah, it might be that I send it like right by Christmas, and then it will arrive like after New Year's or something. We'll see. I can't promise anything really. Nej, aldrig ny. Här lägger du ut videos, vloggar. Nej, aldrig. Du är ny här. Okej, då förstår jag. I'm sorry, it's Joker Folia Du related. Good night, Davy. I'm sorry, I'm never going to watch Joker Folia Du. That's not for me. Okay. I'm INFPT. We are weird. You know better. What are you even saying? Like, everything that you're saying, I don't understand what you mean. So yeah. Okay, so nej, om du är ny, Charlie Hedberg, jag vet inte varför du hittade min video, men det är så här att jag är en ST-läkare i allmänmedicin, och jag är en INFP i det här MBTI-systemet, och jag fick nyligen diagnos autism för ett år sedan. Så det är det jag pratar om på min kanal. Om du vill veta kort om mig. Så om det finns något av det här som du kan relatera till så får du gärna säga till. Men det är ungefär det jag pratar om. Jag pratar ibland om böcker som jag läser och lite sånt. Men på engelska. Förlåt, sorry. Vadå? Okay. I don't know what's going on. Okay. I think I might need to end this live soon. It was very fun to hang out, and it is quite amazing to think like 2,000 people. Like, okay, 2,000 people, like thinking in terms of like YouTube video, that's like, it's nothing in the scale of YouTube, but it's huge amount of people. Like, imagine, you know, like a football stadium with 2,000 people, you know, you're like, what? That's many people. I mean, I felt like that was a lot of people even when I had like 100 followers. I'm honored because that means that you get my videos all the time in your inbox. And I know that it can be annoying. Like, I myself would maybe not follow myself because like I keep coming up with videos about different topics that I mean, like sometimes I'll follow a content creator or something and I'll be like, oh, I'm only interested in this kind of video. And then this creator like keeps posting about this other thing that they're interested in, and I'm like, wait, but I'm not interested in watching any of that. Sometimes I absorb their interest by watching their channel, but sometimes I'm just like, no, I'm not interested in this other thing. And so you guys put up with that. You know, you're like putting up with me sometimes talking about just my life, and sometimes talking about philosophical stuff, and sometimes about autism and you know, medical school and everything. And some people just come for the lives, and that's fine. Okay, so Charlie Hedberg like left the chat because I guess that he was embarrassed by being here. Yes, Doc. Okay. So I spoke in Swedish to somebody who just wanted to leave, but okay. I'm glad that he left before he wasted any more time on on me speaking in English. He gets to have his hat on. Let's see. No, I think that we're going to be done soon enough. I need to go to the bathroom at a certain point as well. Yeah, if anybody has any questions, put it in the chat. You can also leave comments on the actual video, but I'm not able to get to it right now because I'm doing live on my phone, so I'm not able to see the actual comments. But if you're watching this anytime in the future, then you can do that. I do read all the comments. I don't always reply to them. That's another thing that I would say to somebody who makes YouTube videos. Like, at first you want to reply to every single one of the comments, and then you realize that it's not possible. Or you can, but you'll burn yourself out. It's better to like pace yourself a little bit, and it's fine if you don't reply to everybody's comment. It's fine if you don't reply to any comments. So, I mean, some channels never reply to their comments. I like doing it, but and it's okay for people to comment even if they don't know what to comment. I think that I would rather, instead of people writing weird comments or writing like paragraphs upon paragraphs
like I like people writing paragraphs. It's just like I don't know how to reply to that because it's like overwhelming. Um, so even if you don't receive a response from me, if you've written paragraphs, know that I am grateful, and that I have taken your ideas in and I am reflecting upon them. You know, but I don't often know what to say in response because like I sometimes just want to reply like 2 lines to something that is like 10 paragraphs long. Um, and the people who write weird comments like um, yeah, maybe don't. If you want to write a short comment that you've seen a video, you can. Don't be intimidated by people who write long comments. You know, you could just write a comment that is just an emoji that is like a happy emoji, a heart. Some people do that, and it makes me happy. It shows to me who watches the videos as well. Um, Not that I'm conducting any kind of analytics of the stuff, but um, it feels more real if somebody writes a comment. And the comments are so I try to write comments. It's hard sometimes, and I know I understand. Um, I try to leave a comment when I can. What I've learned is that I know that I can write comments if I have something like nice to say or something that I relate to. I'll write a comment. I try to limit the amount of critical comments that I write because like there's not much purpose to it. Um, but sometimes I fall into the trap of writing critical comments. But I try really not to. Um, but if you don't know what to say, you can just write it like put a positive emoji in there, or you know, some people write confusing comments that you know. Try to imagine that you're writing to somebody who has no concept of how you usually write, um, because people do write differently, um, and that other people can see your comments. That's another thing. Sometimes people think that they use the comment section as like a personal messaging thing. That's not how it works. Thank you very much for lovely live. Ecleandilet says, what is your take on working in Scandinavia? I'm thinking of accepting work offer in Finland. Okay, well, first of all, if you want to move to Finland, don't call it Scandinavia because it doesn't count. Okay, that's number one. But Finland, you can get a lot of good money there. It's euros. It's the one place in the Nordics that actually has euros. So I think that that's a good point. Now, I don't have many good things to say on Finland, unfortunately, in my personal thing. I know that a lot of my Finnish friends came to Sweden to study and then they went back to Finland to live because that's where their family is and stuff. I think that the work environment for doctors, it's possibly more on your plate, especially if you work in like rural areas. But I think it's pretty similar probably to the Swedish system. I don't know if you mean to work in healthcare or if you just mean to work generally or just living in Scandinavia, because that's different questions. I find that the working conditions are very good, and you get pauses. People, you know, the system takes care of you. Um, yeah, socialism. I like it. you know, you get sick leave and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know where you're coming from, but if it's the US, it's much better. If it's other places in Europe, I don't know exactly if it's going to be better than where you are. And if it's from some other place in the world, I don't know. I guess that Sweden has good standards of living in good working environments, so I would recommend. But it also depends on the field, and it depends on a lot of things. That's good. I often end up deleting my comments before posting because I secretly believe you find me annoying. No, I don't find you annoying. Sometimes I will find people annoying in the comments. I won't lie. I won't lie to you. Like I will sometimes find people annoying in the comments. It's not like I'll say, oh, you can never be annoying. People can be, but it's like, it's fine. As long as you're not like actively criticizing my being, then I will be fine with the stuff. It's just sometimes people write confusing comments that really, you know, confusion is a terrible feeling to feel. Like, I don't know what to do with that. And it's like, how do you reply to that? It's hard. People will sometimes write something that's completely unrelated to the video. And by unrelated, I don't mean like, oh, you started talking about your own experience and going a little bit on a tangent. No, I mean, because that is what I do all the time. That's fine. But some people will like ask something completely unrelated. It's like we're not just in a regular chat here. We are in a comment section of a video. Like, please have something related to the video. If you can't have something related to the video, then just write something bland about like, oh, nice to see you again, or like just like, oh, congrats, or you know, or I don't know, the platitudes, you know, or just write an emoji. But sometimes people will be like, oh, what's your, that's why I have the lives, so that you can go in and start asking about random things that aren't related to anything really. But like, there was this person who just wrote like, oh, what's your favorite music, on a video that was about like my trauma. It's like, but I didn't even mention music at all in that whole video, so I don't know what that person was hinting at. And so that person maybe didn't have, like, maybe had really good intentions, but like, I can't interpret that. Like, my job isn't to interpret something that makes no sense, you know? Yeah, that's really off track. Well, that happens quite often, unfortunately. And it's like, people use these mediums in different ways, and so I have had to work on like understanding that that's okay. Some people just use the comment section in certain ways, and that's fine, you know. It's not anything against me, or it's not them being malicious or anything. It's just them using the platform in a different sense. You know, it's the way, like, there's this whole discussion about how boomers write texts compared to millennials or Gen Zers or whatever. And I'm not talking about the generations here, but I mean that in this context of talking about communication differences, some so boomers will often write ellipses, like 3 dots, to mean like a pause. Like, they'll be like, I can come ... if you want. And it's like, that's ominous. You know, what does the three dots mean? Or like that, they'll be like, or you can write, hi, do you want to meet up? And then they'll be like, yes, dot. And that punctuation mark feels rude as a millennial / Gen Z person. I'm like, oh, did I piss this person off? Because they put a dot after their yes, which are kind of social codes that millennial / Gen Z would understand. But since I'm talking to a boomer person, my mom or something, they'll put a dot at the end of their yes. And all they mean is that it's the end of their sentence, you know? But I can't interpret it because I'm looking at it through a different lens of like, okay, so I'm not pissing this person off. But if my best friend, who's the same age as me, wrote yes with a dot, then it would mean something different. And that is a lot to navigate, you know, when people write in different ways. Some people use no capital letters, like Dave uses no capital letters. But some people uses capital letters to an extreme degree, and I'm like, where did you learn to text? You know, it's like, I don't know. It's difficult, you know, and it's people from all around the world, so we all have different cultural references. And so, yes, I will sometimes get, like, I will misinterpret what is being said or the intentions because the person is writing in a way that I'm not used to. And people do that to me all the time and misunderstand me all the time, and I don't like it. And I don't want to misunderstand others. But unfortunately, it's a little bit inevitable because it's the medium, you know? I don't have the possibility to go over to your house and like talk to you face to face to fix this communication problem. So I have to assume certain things about people when they write. And yeah, sometimes I'm a little bit paranoid and my assumptions aren't always positive, you know? I have to protect myself also, so it's a hard balance. 3 dots for me means something not wanting to be said, not as pause. For the dot, I'm a bit lighter about it. Yeah, yes, about people don't want to be said. Yes, exactly. But some people, you know, they learned at school, like my mom learned at school that ellipses are to mark a pause, you know? And so she will put 3 dots. And I'll be like, why are you being so secretive about this? Or what are you hiding from me? When really that's not the thing. Or like, why are you being hesitant about this? When really all she wanted to mark is a pause in her way of thinking. And so it's confusing. But yeah, so that's the thing, is that a lot of people write comments differently in different ways, and what might be friendly for one person texting would be unfriendly for another person texting, and I can't know. Me and Schumann have had a lot of discussions because, well, you know, maybe I'm used to texting in a certain way and he's used to texting in another way, and there's some clash somewhere, and so we have to discuss it. Because otherwise it seems like I'm like, he thinks I'm sad when I'm not, or like I might seem like I don't care about something, but I do, or that I'm upset when I'm not. You know, there's all this kind of stuff that is difficult in communication, you know? Laszlo here. Hello, Laszlo. My mom puts a dot after every message because it's grammatically correct. I get it coming from her. But if somebody else I would assume it's pretentious. Yes, exactly. That's the thing, is that because you know the person, you know how they text, so you're less likely to get into a misunderstanding. But the thing is, like, because I don't know a lot of the people in the comments, like, I know how Sick writes. I know how Schumann writes at this point. Like, I know certain parameters, so I can feel more secure in the conversation. But when some new person comes around, then I'm like suddenly like, whoa, you know, if your style of writing is very different from how other people write, you know? Yes, like I know Sick likes to write several paragraphs and like to have several topics organized like that. And like, if I didn't know Sick, I might assume certain things. But yeah, it's not like that. Because there are some people who write like that, but they actually mean it in a different way, you know? And so I think, yeah, it took me a while to get used to. But it does that for everybody, you know? Every style of writing. But, you know, some people write in a more mainstream way, I guess, than others. So, yeah. I try to be careful about my words. Oh, that's nice, I guess. I use ellipsis to mark a pause. Oh no. Now I'm a bit worried I might be going around confusing people. Yeah, I can't really explain the problem, but it's like there is a certain. But like, okay, so if I know that you specifically use it to mark a pause, then I can, like, you know, not take it personally later, you know. But it's hard sometimes because you can't really, because as soon as you ask for clarification, then it's like suddenly it gets even more of a misunderstanding. So you can never win. The point isn't winning, but like understanding. True. I write paragraphs everywhere with you, Doris, Bufo, etc. Yeah, exactly. And I think that yeah, if somebody else writes like that, and there have been other people who have written in a similar manner, but different, it was an actual different tone altogether that they wanted to convey. You know, I don't want to hurt your feelings, Sick, but some people might like see it as like, oh, you're mansplaining or whatever, because if somebody else writes in a similar manner but with other words, right, and they have another intent, and so it's hard navigating that when two people might write in the exact same way but have two completely different intentions. So yeah, it's confusing. Yeah, sorry. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. Like, your way of writing the Sick is like completely valid. I'm just saying that, yeah, a lot of people that write very differently, and then I'm like, yeah, if it's the first time that I see somebody write in a certain way, I'm like, what's going on? So thing is, I think that there might be something like that with Dave, who was earlier in the chat. Like Dave, yeah, did not write in a way. Baby Jones, I do not know how you are writing, and I cannot interpret anything of what you say. So I've given up at this point. But yeah, there are some people where, yeah, and so it was kind of funny because my ex-INFJ friend, he said, "Oh, you use the same emojis as this other INFP girl I know." And he's like, "That's," and so he used the use of emojis to to type people, and I don't know if that's true really, but um, I do know that there are certain emojis that I use all the time, and so I have kind of my own specific code of how to write. But if somebody who never uses those emojis sees them, then they might get confused about the way that I'm using them, you know? I often use the emoji of like the see no evil, the one with like the little monkey hiding his eyes. And I'm not referring at all to the phrase see no evil. I'm referring to like, I want an emoji where you hide your eyes. But nowadays you have an emoji for that. There's an emoji of like a face where he's like peeking like that. But I don't like that one because in that one you're seeing things. You know, I want an emoji where you're actually covering both of your eyes. So I use the one with the monkey, but that might be misinterpreted by people. Or does this other emoji? What is it? Also, the emojis are different for different phones. So it's like, what are you going to do? Do you prefer texting instead of calling? I prefer texting. I do not like calling. I hope that I answered your earlier question in an okay way. I didn't get any details about that. I can understand, but of course, don't have any intentions of mansplaining. It's true, and I tend to go above and beyond, but it's just like I didn't gauge conversations that way. No, I'm not saying that you are mansplaining. What I mean is that people might think you are if they don't know who you are. Or, yeah. Because there are some people, unfortunately, who write like you and who have bad intentions. So it's about deciphering, like, okay, what is the content of the message? What is the form? What is the intent behind it? And combining all these things and with previous experience and all that, you start to get an idea of what is meant. But yeah, I also tend to have a bit of a, you know, a weariness with new commenters. And it's not like I want the new commenters to pass a test or anything. It's just like I need to kind of gauge if they're okay. If they're okay to have a discussion with, if they're on my channel for the right reasons. And it's hard at times because I don't really know. You know, there was a person who wrote, "Oh, you're sassy," and I'm like, that was all they said. They're like, "You're so sassy," in a video that wasn't me being particularly sassy. However, the thumbnail was me like doing like this, which I guess is kind of a sassy pose. It was the best the best thumbnail I could get, where I was vaguely looking at the camera and vaguely smiling. But I happened to be doing that. But I'm like, okay, well, and so I wrote like, I think this pejorative use of the word sass, like sassy isn't a good word. I don't think. But then they said, well, no, actually, where I'm from, sassy is a good word. And I'm like, okay. But like, why did you just say that I was sassy? Like, that was a case where you could have just sent an emoji instead of writing "you're so sassy" on a video that had nothing to do with sassiness. Yeah, so that was one of those weird ones where I was just confused, like, what's going on? But yeah, people can do what they want. It's just that if you keep doing that, then it just makes me associate the person or like the pseudonym with just like confusing comments, and I'd rather not get those, you know. It's true, and if somebody tells me that I hurt their feelings, I tend to apologize. As I said before, I go by first do no harm. Yeah. But I think that a lot more people usually have more are more open-minded to new people than I am. I get scared pretty easily, and I can't deal. Maybe some comments are from AI bots, possibly, but that adds to the confusion, doesn't it? Like how do you tell? How do you tell what is an AI bot and what is not? I mean, Davey is not an AI bot, or is he? Maybe he can come and confirm that for himself, that he is not a bot. I don't think that he is a bot. But like, you know, sometimes people just write really weird comments. I haven't really identified an AI bot. There was this German, no, not German, Spanish guy, and I blocked him in the end because I couldn't deal with him. But yeah, he would never write anything that was on topic for the video. But you'd think that the AI bots would have like more coherent sentences, I guess. Like, I don't know. Either that, or they would not make any sense, like at all. Like they would just be the random letters put together. But no, it's just very disconcerting. So yeah, that is another reason why like YouTube kind of sucks, and I don't really know how to deal with it. But here we are. I don't know what happened to the live, why it says that there's only 1 hour and 30 minutes. Are you still there? I might have gotten disconnected somehow. Please guys say, okay, somebody is writing, so at least that means you're there. Okay, client. I don't know what happened, but somehow the counting system disappeared. Okay. Okay, so that's it. I'm going to end this here because I think that has been going more than 3 hours at this point. This is probably the longest live ever. So I will be making some more videos if I can. Technically, I'm going to be working 9 days in a row, and then it's going to be Christmas. So yeah, we'll see if I can create any video before then. I want to make one for the New Year's resolutions. I want to make one for the books that I've read this year. Once the Goodreads wrap thingy comes out, I also might be thinking about the autism ADHD video. And if I find anything else, I will talk about it. Yeah, so people are saying bye in the comments. Bye bye everybody. Bonne soirée. Bye.